is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bulletproof Mindset, where we help you bulletproof your mind through fitness, health, and a wee bit of entertainment. So today's topic, we are talking about bodybuilding. We are talking about strength training. We are bringing them both together, and we're talking about what is the pros and cons of either or. So stay tuned. So something that keeps coming up is, I don't know if you've ever seen, it's that power building. Have you seen that power building plan?
I didn't know you were starting.
Why not? This is the best way to start.
No.
I always catch you off guard with this. You're like, it's like, you talking to me? No, mate, I'm not. Right, I'm talking to everybody else that's in this room.
People will think we're taking a piss here. No, right. I've heard of power building because I done it for a bit. I really enjoyed it.
I was actually just going to ask, is the one program that I've not necessarily... I've done strength programs, I've done powerlifting programs, I've done bodybuilding programs, but I've not exactly followed one to a T for a 12 week plan, which has been about power building. It is like the new
thing.
It's a new thing, because for me, when I got into training, I'm only like a couple of years older, but I got into training, I was like 14, 15. No, sorry, I tell a lie, it's 15, 16, and it was bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding was massive for ages.
And then very few people were following, or I didn't notice, maybe it was at the time because I never really paid attention to everyone in the gym, but I didn't notice many people following a strength program. I tell you one thing, I never noticed many people squatting and deadlifting, and that was the next big thing. I see a lot of, see so many, what's his name? Just pulled 250 kilo. My God.
Aidan McEwen.
Aidan. Man, if there's a guy that goes to our gym, shout out to Aidan, Gym 24, he trains at
19 years old.
He just deadlifted 250. He's got a comp, doesn't he? He's got a comp.
He's got a comp coming up. I'm just trying to think what 250 is in pounds. What's 250 in pounds?
It's more than a ton. No, more than
500. It's about 550. It's about 550.
Let me Google it. But anyway, the point we're trying to make is there's so many people strength training and powerlifting these days
compared to what it used to be,
which is awesome. But what that's then spurt is there is so we spoke about this in a previous episode. There's benefits from mobility. There's benefits from yoga training, from bodybuilding, from powerlifting, from strongman. There's so many benefits from these different ones, but the best program that sort of blends together is your strength training and your hypertrophy / bodybuilding training. So we wanted to do an episode today where we go into that and explain the differences and why you would want to do that, or what is it in the first place. So I'll let you take it away. So
you've got strength, you've got hypertrophy. That's what creates power building. Obviously you can do strongman hypertrophy, which is a little bit different. So when it comes to, we're just talking about power building today, keep it nice and simple. We'll talk about squat, bench and deadlift being the strength focus, and we'll talk about the rest of your body being the hypertrophy focus. So when it comes to strength, right, so you look at strength is maximum motor unit recruitment in the muscle. So you don't need bigger muscles to gain strength, right? But it helps. What are you doing now?
I'm trying to
cheeky. So strength is the maximum motor unit recruitment that can be produced by each muscle. So in a muscle we've got motor units, and they are turned on by the nervous system. So strength training is focused on the nervous system mainly. So it's focused on repetitive motions while also giving yourself rests and recovery compared to bodybuilding or hypertrophy.
Let's stay on that for a fact, because this is one that who did I hear talk about this, and they communicated it so well. So our nervous system, let's just stay in that, because that's the easiest bit to communicate, or try and communicate as best to anyone that's listening to this. So nervous system, I remember hearing a stat that we never really tap into the full potential of our nervous system. So for example, say you are a certain amount of strength, you have the ability to lift maximum potential, let's say that's 100, that the percentage of access that you have out of 100 is like, for the average person who doesn't lift weights, is like 20. And I was like, that can't be right, no way. I can't even remember what the study was or who it was that I was listening to, but I was like, nah, it can't be right. But then they said this stat about powerlifters and strength athletes, that they're the ones who get the closest to 100, but it's only like 88 89, so there's still a percentage of where you don't get. And the reason this hit home for me is because this fight or flight system that most people kick into. So anyone that doesn't know, it's like where you get ramped up and you get into that
adrenaline kicks in.
You get into that hyper state. And there was a story of a lady in America. She was in a car crash and she got out and her kid was stuck in the back seat, and she managed to shift this car fucking like what the car, well, I don't know what cars weigh over a ton, but being able to shift a ton of weight because her kid was in danger. And I remember telling this story to some of my clients who have kids, and they were like, I can believe that because you would break through walls to get if anything's in the way of your kid. Yeah, and also I can't speak to that, but that highlights the point of your nervous system and your central nervous system, and being able to tap into that power output. Yeah, that's what strength training does the best. You get to tap into, like, 1 week you were lifting a certain amount a week. Yes, you can get your technique down to leverage it, but build it, tapping in, because you've sent a stress signal to your body, say we're lifting heavy shit. Yeah, and it's like, oh fuck, we've not done this before, and you learn that recruitment pattern and
slowly.
That helps switch.
So
on.
When it comes to strength training, if you want to get stronger at a particular movement, you're looking to do that movement at least twice per week. And if it's not a very stressful movement like the bench press, you can do it way more than twice a week. So what you're also looking for is probably a heavy day and then a lighter day, because as we spoke about, your central nervous system is key to you getting stronger.
You need to expose it.
But you also need to let it calm down. There's only so much adrenaline that you can produce from your nervous system. So if you go in and lift heavy 3 days per week, it's impossible for you to go in and then lift just as heavy. So you need to go in, you still need to train the motor pattern to build the motor units, but you can't go to the same intensity.
That needs to tail off, because I remember seeing a guy, actually this is, you came back to my mind, the one guy I remember seeing in Virgin Active in Hamilton, and this was the first person I ever saw that done something that wasn't like a bodybuilding split. Anyone I looked at, I was like, oh, they're roughly doing a chest day or shoulder day, or chest and shoulders, chest and tries. Like they were the names. Like push pull legs wasn't even the name for things. Back like 10 years ago, and I remember seeing a guy squatting and then going into deadlifting and then benching. I remember going, what the fuck
is he doing?
What's he doing? And he was lifting crazy weights, and he was sitting for like 5 minutes in between sets, and I was like, what is this programming?
So that's another thing. Like, so you need to let your central nervous system rest between the set. There is no point in going into another strength set and you are still fatigued. So it's pointless.
It's like 3 minutes, isn't it? 2 minutes.
Is it? Fuck.
No, for some people, like if you're trying to be efficient with that, you should minimum rest. Minimum
absolutely
rest.
Minimum. If you're trying to get stronger, and you only try to get stronger, then you should be resting for at least 2 to 3 minutes minimum.
I think this is the biggest pet peeve I think people have of strength training athletes, because they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, move your arse, like, on that squat rack. Like,
so between squat sets, I'll take 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh yeah, between
sets.
So like, I say I don't, but I know I can fart about my phone. I'm like, oh fuck, man, I've been sitting here for 10 minutes. I better get this thing. Your recovery period is going to be different to person, and the longer you train, the more you'll know what that is for you. For me, like once I'm by that 2-3 minute mark, I feel pretty good to go. Sometimes I'll take a wee bit longer. So see,
what the thing is between strength and hypertrophy. So we're going to be talking about hypertrophy soon. For strength, the only focus is lifting the amount of weight, either set out or the maximum amount of weight, right? So if you go into the next set, you're still fatigued, then you're losing strength gains. You're not trying to build muscle, you're not trying to build strength in that particular set. So you give yourself the maximum rest where your cardiovascular's set up and your nervous system's calmed right down.
So is that where you would say that you're crossing that line and going into hypertrophy, then into muscle growth signal as opposed to strength?
Yeah, if that rest period is too short, then definitely.
Do you not think there's any value of having both? That's the point of this episode. But do you not think there is still a little bit of strength gain, and even if you do cut your
there's always hypertrophy gain from strength training, and there's always hypertrophy gain. No, there's always gains from both. If your focus is hypertrophy, if your focus is strength, you always get the other. But you should focus on one or the other at particular times.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit like if your goal strength focused, it's about getting the maximum strength,
the maximum weight moved, the maximum weight load, the maximum load moved.
And
So
this is where power building like fits right in between that, because
Yeah.
it's about getting the maximum weight moved while still building the most amount of lean muscle mass. That's
Yeah.
that's the two key phrases.
So I think we'll explain strength pretty well. We'll go back to it. So let's talk about hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is the growth of muscle cells. Right? So that is, if you train for hypertrophy, that's bodybuilding, right? If you don't know what bodybuilding is, that's hypertrophy training.
just growing muscle, yeah.
Growing muscle, that is the only purpose of hypertrophy training. That's why it's good to get strong and build muscle at the same time. So
Don't want to be all show, no go.
yeah.
like,
Fuck it.
Like me. Well, he's massive, but I can't lift weight.
But that's the thing, like, there is no purpose in being super strong if your goal is just to be big.
What, as in, like muscular? Big?
No, but I mean, if I say to you, what weights do you lift? It shouldn't really fucking matter.
No.
Or you only deadlift 200. Yeah, but you're fucking massive because that is how you train. So if someone's strength training and they're telling you small numbers, like, get up, wee man, right? But if they're hypertrophy training, the weights don't even matter. That's what I hate about people who do bodybuilding. They go, what do you bench? What the fuck does it fucking matter?
So this is where, like, so are you saying like it doesn't really matter how big you are?
No, I'm saying if you're
Or
hypertrophy,
if your goal is to be as big as you can, it doesn't really matter how strong you are. If your goal is to be how strong you are, it doesn't really matter how big you are, as long as you're like the lift.
obviously that's where powerbuilding comes in and does both.
Aye.
Right, but like, there's so many people say, I do hypertrophy training. No, you don't, because you're trying to get strong. Do you know what I mean? They're like, I lifted this and shoulder press. That's good, but you tried your fucking hardest in that set. There was no control. It was just get that up. So you went from you went to strength training halfway through your set. Do you know what I mean? And we all do it. It's like, come on, the ego kicks in. But that's where, like, so we'll go on to specificity. If you want to get bigger, quicker, then it's best to stick to hypertrophy training, right? If you want to get stronger quicker, it's best to stick to strength training. If you want to do both at the same time, power building is good, but understand for power building you need a long session.
Yeah, it's
If MD's going to do a power building session, you need a long session because you need to do your big compound, you need to take your big rests, and then you need to rest a little bit before you start your hypertrophy work. So for strength training, as we spoke about rest times, your rest times shouldn't be set. You should be waiting. You should be waiting, right?
Yeah.
But for hypertrophy, shouldn't be totally set, but should be set a little bit more. You should be really focusing a little bit more. You should still be given the most out of the next set. But for hypertrophy, you're looking to do the same week on week. So you're looking to do each reps the same and have each rest times the same.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a 4-week block, have similar rest times, have similar rep speeds, and then try and up the weight. That's for hypertrophy. That's how you'll grow muscle.
Yeah.
But for strength, the weight's not always going up. And this is where it becomes strength training is so confusing in the sense of how you program it, because you don't always go up in weight.
Yeah, there has to be a point where you stop.
Yeah. No, not even stop. From week to week, you'll go up and down, up and down. It's called DUP, daily undulating programming. That's what it is. So you change you'll do heavy one day, like one day light, heavy.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
No, what I was meaning is, like, if you're starting out your strength journey, it literally is week on week, personal best, but that plateaus out, and this is where the programming.
Yeah, and then when the programming. So when you're strength training, you will not always be lifting heavy every single week. When it comes to hypertrophy / bodybuilding, the goal is the next week.
Progressive overload.
The progressive overload. The progress is next week you go up in weight. Next week you go up in weight. If you do not go up in weight, then you then need to look at your nutrition or your recovery. So you either need a deload or your sleep, etc. has not been as good, and you need to tone it back. That's the only time.
Would you say, like, a way of progressing that overload then in the power building phase with the goal of having strength and building muscle? Would you say, like, slowing a rep down or adding an extra wee bit of volume to it? Would that not fit into that in your eyes?
Well, what I would look at is you would always look at your technique.
Oh yeah, no, I know that.
Right, so you would just do reps the same. So you would have one day where you just do squats, normal squats. You would have the rep ranges and that set up. The other day, you'd probably look to have your accessory for your squat.
Right.
So you look at your squat and go, right, where is my weak point? You work on your weak point.
I'm meaning more so you're saying, like, week on week in a power building phase. Week 1, you done 50 kilos. Week 2, you should be going for 52.5. Like, is that what you're saying?
only in your hypertrophy work. Some see.
Sorry, I missed that. Right,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
hypertrophy work that you're
You're always increasing, if you can, unless you need a deload.
Right. Okay.
Do you get me?
Aye, but surely they must tap out at some point, just like your lifts would. Like, it's not as if I can tricep pull down like 90 kilo, you know what I mean? Like, that has to come to a stop.
Obviously, you will come to a stop.
Yeah. And that's where I'm saying, like, is that when you would your hypertrophy training? Would you then? So this is for me. This is what I would be doing. I'd be going, right, I'm maxing out at the 12, 15 reps, right? Putting that weight up, my forms then coming down. Is the next option to maybe factor in a different variant of that accessory work?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's how it. Just speaking out loud, that's how I would program it.
Yeah.
Are you going to ever go back to power building?
I will definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. I say that's the funnest style of training for me. That's the training that I feel most.
Beast.
What's that word?
Beast mode.
No, what's that word? I've lost the word.
What word?
The word. The word in the dictionary.
I'll just start shouting out words like piano, table.
I'll get it. I can't mind, but it's the one that I feel
grounded. Is that the word?
No, that's not the word. That's not the word. I need that word, but it's pissing me off.
But so power build. So for me, just speaking to Jay about this today, because he's like, you got to come back to bodybuilding. And I was like, I think I'm going to do a proper strength phase first. I want to get good foundations because I've lost a good bit of strength. Just try to set up the studio, starting podcast, content, being away on holiday, getting married. It's been a good year. It's been a really good year, but I want to finish the year with I want to get my max numbers on all my lifts.
Yeah.
This is all ego driven, but like you kind of sparked it a wee bit on a previous episode. I've trained once powerlifting wise where I've trained off percentages and trained up to a 1 rep max, trained for that, whereas a lot of times this year when I hit 1 rep max it was on a whim. The boys were in the gym and they're like, you going for this, you want a spot for this? And I was like, no, I'm doing 8 reps. It's like, no, come on, go for 1. So I went for 1. So I want to give it time to the end of the year.
So I would say percentages is an okay way to look at things for strength training, but I would look at your RPE.
No, percentages in the sense is this should be 70% of my 1 rep max, but I'm the PT, so I'll know going into that I'm not feeling good today. It's not going to be that weight. It's going to come down.
When you're looking at strength training, you're looking at more RPE, which is rate of perceived exertion. So
10's hard, 1's easy. Like that's
it's but what it is for strength training for the squat, bench, and deadlift. You're looking at your bar speed, right? Because some days you can be feeling a bit shit, but your bar speed can still be moving a bit fast. So video your sets if you're strength training. Video your sets, and then you watch it back and see what we're talking about, the untapped potential, right? It's so fucking strange, right? When I do a squat set and I'm like, that was quite hard, and I watch my set back and it was like an RP6, right? Which RP6 means the bar speed moves quickly the full time, even on the last rep. But in the last rep I was like, that's quite hard. I watch it back and I go, that was an RP6. My next set feels 10 times easier because I've then watched it.
See, like you were talking as well.
It's psychological. So I could have felt that and then went at my next set and put the weight down because I didn't feel it was an RP6. But then I watch the set back and I go, that was an RP6. I do it again and it is an RP6.
It's a good strategy.
So videoing your sets for strength training is for 1, technique, and 2, just to find out how it's actually moving. Because it can feel so different. And that's where like the RP system is good, but it's not good for some people because they don't fully understand it. So video yourself if you're going off rate of perceived exertion.
Aye, because you can see how it moves. You can see how it moves. Aye, so I'm going to do powerlifting, and then I like the idea of power building. So I might sit down and it's maybe the one programs that I've never really pieced together myself. I've done everything else, done powerlifting, programmed that for clients.
What I found is you need like 45 minutes for your compound and then like an hour for the rest.
I don't know.
But you need like a 15-minute break between, so it's a solid 2 hours of lifting, so you're probably talking half an hour warm up, 2 hours of lifting.
Do you know whose program I actually bought? I bought that Coach Eugene's program, and I'm sure
he's got a power building.
He's got a power building one, so I might use that as a template. I might follow that and then
try it.
Look, as somebody else with the expertise. That
I would always say to everybody, strength and hypertrophy training in the one. So power building is probably the funnest way to go about it.
Yeah,
because you get strong in squat, bench, deadlift. It's fucking cool to look at. It's cool to do. It's fun. It teaches your body what's wrong and what's right with it, and then you build muscle as well at the same time.
Love it. Cool. Any other points to add?
All good, all good.
Okay, guys, well, thanks for tuning in as always. Be sure to check us out on social media. So you can find us at Bulletproof Mindset UK. You can find me at Coach Crosser.
You can find me at Roger Fit.
See you guys soon.
Have a nice one.